Tune in to Peak 100.1 every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. to discover the voices, stories, and sounds coming straight from your own community. It's Local Artist Spotlight. Miss the show? No problem. Catch extended episodes anytime on our YouTube channel at Peak 100.1. Local Artist Spotlight is brought to you in part by the Eureka Room in Old Town Cottonwood. For wine, art, and a community gathering place, the Eureka Room. Experience the joy of discovery. Local Artist Spotlight, Wednesday nights at 6:30 on Peak 100.1.
Low-end theory. You can call dibs on anyone you like, but keep your skanky mitts off the bass player. The front man, he's all yours, along with his collection of pretty boy neuroses and bad breakup lyrics. And feel free to give the lead guitarist your number. He'll take you out once, you'll pay for everything, and never hear from him again. I'm 100% certain that keyboard player will murder you in your sleep. And if the drummer screws like he plays, you're in for a frustrating evening. Nope, the bass player is the one who stole my heart. He's the pulse beneath the roar, that hum you feel in your ribs before you hear it in your ears, the spine of the song. Not flashy, not loud, but if he stops, you'll feel the void before you even know what's missing. He lives in the pocket, deep in the groove, his strong fingers walking slow fires across thick strings that speak in subtext, sliding up and down the neck, weaving syncopated heartbeats, holding the whole thing down. You can't fake that kind of funk. The spotlight? Nah, that's for the shredders, the screamers, the ones who dance on frets and strut about the stage like they've got something to prove. Mommy issues. The bass player's got nothing to prove. He's got feel, thump and rumble, silk and thunder, all curled around his calluses. They don't see him, but they move when he moves. Their hips know his name, even if their mouths don't. He plays for the sway, for the head nods, for the grin the drummer gives when they lock in on a groove so deep it could drown you. He's the glue of every jam, the breath of air between chords, the unsung hero driving every chorus you didn't know you couldn't live without. And he's mine. Thank you.
Awesome!
So good. This is the opening of the book Pantheon, and it's called Liturgy. Let us give of ourselves with every single page. Some of us were okay with having been picked last. Some of us didn't want to be picked at all. You never really think about that. Never made to acquiesce to desires never our own. We're not here to spark your curiosity. We're here to be flamethrowers. Our prayers will give you bite marks. We're not made to be confined inside the box of expectation, root constructs that are the new gate of conformity. Some of us find sanctity in a battered band shirt, not tattered. To us, it's a holy vestment. Some of us find a new kind of benediction, walking barefoot through a cemetery with a bottle of gin and a book of Kerouac than we would ever find in a county fair or a softball game. We scorn body spray and drape ourselves in frankincense and myrrh. We were never meant to be picked for basketball or football or soccer, but sometimes, maybe, perhaps, in a distant life, we were soldiers upon a field, bearing our weapons for the likes of Napoleon, Alexander, or Boudica. We wore crowns of laurel in our hair, now baseball caps and beanies. They are our armor. They are our shields, sartorial weapons against a world that lives and dies by man-made constructs. We are cut from an altogether different cloth. Ink under our nails and the taste of iron in our maws, embracing the scent of lilacs because we have known too well the taste of blood. The notebook, it is our scripture, it is our trainer. We learn from it day by day. Ours is a Spartan existence. Some of us don separate skins just to survive another week. We dwell in RVs and apartments and houses and guest rooms and tents and trailers and high-rises and low-rises and basement rooms, or by our wits alone, bearing a backpack and a stick and a grab bag of dreams that would bring a tear to the eye of Johnny Appleseed. We are a free people. We're not here for you to understand. We're not obligated to explanation. If you want to know us, it's very simple. Know our art. Because we're simply here to be. We're not fashioned for your cookie cutter or beige or Denny's or bingo nights. We are born of the stars and the shadow, the beautiful danger of ink and bruise and bell, cathedrals magnificent in structure, yet utterly free of every dogma. The cathedral of the mind, it is infinite in its grandeur, unyielding in its grace. We are its pallbearers. We drink sacramental wine not to be blasphemous, but because it feels heavenly as it moves through our veins. And when I say that I am the thunder and the silk and the unwritten equation, garbed in a vest and boots. You see us coming. The Byzantine festivals, the Renaissance, the Left Bank, Bauhaus Germany, Berlin in the 20s, Rembrandt, Haight-Ashbury, 70s New York. We saw every single one of them. We bore their scars like bumper stickers or stamps upon a passport. We marched like peaceful warriors upon the fields of asphodel. Cerberus is a puppy in our presence. We were there since the birth, out of the darkness and ahead of every single tempest. Observation and wit are our weapons. We rise with the lark. We bear our own agenda, moving in concentric circles, not because we have to, but because it is pleasure. We will not be buried, not set to fire and ash like Pompeii. We are composed of the indistinct and stardust, malformed, though magnificent. We are the journey underground, going deeper and deeper, the cavernous lair beneath the isolate fortress that is frightful to the outsider, but magnificent and fertile to us. We pull ourselves out of darkness, not willing to conspire with the shadows, dusting ourselves off to the sounds of our world, the Ramones and the Bad Brains and Bauhaus and Robert Johnson and Lauryn Hill and the Doors and Maria Callas. We emerge one as if another, like zealous pilgrims upon a temple. We stand at the confessional not to preach, but to hear each other give our own kind of confession. I will chant to you like the ghost who overhears Dante in purgatory. I am the unfashionable truth men attempt to hide in their sons. We look out upon a distant horizon, ever lost but ever near, as we have found our own people, commingling one as if another, as I stand before this microphone and feel no fear.
Welcome back to another episode of Local Artist Spotlight. It's your friend Becca here at Peak 100.1, and I am with my friends. Introduce yourselves, guys.
I'm Michelle Barry, and I live in Clarkdale, and I am the co-creator of Pendemonium, a monthly poetry reading series at the Queen Bee Vinyl Café in Cottonwood.
Awesome, and you are?
I am Chris Cipollini. I am the other co-creator of Pendemonium, which is everything she just said, and we are both authors and poets, and we are partners in rhyming crime.
Yes, I love that. Partners in rhyming crime. Pendemonium is an awesome showcase of local talent, local poets, live spoken word. It's kind of a lost art these days, but you guys are certainly bringing the resurgence that the Verde Valley needs to this art form. You guys are both amazing writers, amazing poets. I've gotten to see you both do your pieces on stage, and it's just such a powerful night of poetry. Tell us about how you guys got linked in with the Queen Bee Vinyl Cafe, how Pendemonium came to be what it is right now.
Well, it kind of started like all great things with sort of like a crazy idealistic dream. I had been traveling around in Europe, and I kind of fell on myself and ended up in Cottonwood, and I had been doing a lot of poetry in Las Vegas as part of the Human Experience Poetry Collective, and it sort of, dissipated. But I had all these words inside of me. It's just, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know where to go, where to perform them, and I just kind of, sat on my laurels for about a few years. Mm-hmm. And then one day, I saw that they were building the Queen Bee Vinyl Cafe. And I went in there one time, and the record selection was outstanding. Mm-hmm. And I had known them previously when they were in Jerome. So I went in to Chris, this awesome blue-haired lady, and I said, you know what, this is pie in the sky as I'll get out, but you have phenomenal acoustics. I used to do poetry. Call me nutty, but would it be so crazy if we did a poetry event here? Not even just
monthly.
not even monthly. I wasn't even being that idealistic.
Just
I was like, let's give me one shot. That's all I ask you.
Yeah.
And, one of my heroes is Patti Smith, and she always says, when the door is closed, kick it in. So Chris said, I'm going to put you in contact with Jen. She's the owner. I said, fantastic. I sent her an email. We arranged to meet literally the next day. We spoke for 2 hours, and I told her all about my poetic journey, and she said, this is a good idea. I want to put you in contact with a very good friend of mine who I hold in the utmost respect. Her name is Michelle Berry. She has an entire history with poetry.
Oh, so
and
cool.
we met probably, I think, maybe a few days afterward. I'm sitting there in the Queen Bee swigging espresso like it's water. I was so nervous because I was like, oh God, what if this doesn't work? What if there's friction? And she comes in, and not to be sappy, it's like the universe handed me a poetry sister.
So cool.
She was so cool, and we were so synchronized, and now I'm going to hand it to Michelle.
Yeah. So when I moved to the Verde Valley, it's going to be 9 years in August.
Wow.
And I used to do poetry. I was a slam poet. I did competitive slam poetry for 15 years on the East Coast before we moved here.
Snaps for that.
Snaps for that. It's like the Olympics of poetry.
Yeah.
And I did that. I competed on a slam team in New Hampshire. That's where I'm from. And that was really, I loved living here, but that was one of the things that I had to kind of give up when we moved here, was I had to kind of say goodbye to that. And I had been looking for a venue here in the Verde Valley where I could maybe kind of resurrect that for years. And I was just waiting for Jen Keenan to build it. And, she put me in touch with Chris. We kind of shot some ideas back and forth. We had a very similar prior history and kind of aligned on what we wanted this to be. We wanted this to become like a very welcoming space, not just for established poets, of which there are many hiding out here in the Verde Valley who are just kind of looking for a place to read, but inspire people who maybe have an old notebook lying around somewhere that they haven't even cracked open for years, or secret writers that nobody knows how talented they are. And so we started that. Our first show was in March,
I believe it was
of
the
last
beginning
year.
of March last year. Yeah.
And every show we have, more and more people come. We have a crew of regulars that come to every show every month, and when they come back, they bring someone new, and it's incredible. We get emails from people. People send us poems that they write. I mean, it really brings tears to my eyes that people feel so inspired by this, and that's really that's all we wanted to do, was just kind of like give people a little creative boost and just remind them that poetry is important. Yeah. Poetry matters. Words matter. That, all of us had to read poems in school, memorize poems in school. Like, there's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason your English teacher made you do that.
Yeah, it unlocks something in your brain, and snaps for Jen Keenan for creating
Definitely.
a pillar in the community and establishing you guys as pillars in this community. You mentioned the locals coming back, the regulars coming back. What I love about the Pendemonium community is the writing prompts at the end of the show. You guys offer these writing prompts, and it gets everybody excited. People read their prompts from the last meet, and it's just like a really cool string of evolution that if you keep on going to Pendemonium, you're going to see this reoccurring theme, these reoccurring poems and ideas and prompts and stuff, but everyone bringing their own unique individuality to that same theme, prompt, whatever it is. That's my favorite thing about it. It's like a melting pot of everybody's brain all at once, and the Queen Bee is a great venue for you guys to be doing this in, and you guys are just paving the way for future people to take that step and say, you know what, I've got a cool idea for an event. Let's do it. And look at the community that you guys have started. Are you guys online publishing your poems anywhere? We got books in the works. What's going on?
This is my book. I actually published it, I think it was, oh my God, it was already last year.
Yeah.
This was published in November. This is called Pantheon, Cathedral of the Mind.
Awesome.
I sell it at Stardust. We had a whole little hoopla for that, which was delightful. Got a big, it actually did quite well that night, modesty aside.
Awesome.
And I also sell it on the dreaded Amazon, but do it where you can.
Yeah.
And it's really just kind of an exploration of themes, archetypes, lived experience, and just as one reader put it, just the beautiful, constant strength and happiness of defiance.
Yeah. And you said you spent time in Europe. I know a little bit about your background as an actor and a model from New York to LA and stuff. So you have a lot
in this lighting.
You have a lot. No one in this lighting, honey. Trust me. But you have a lot of good life experience to draw on. A lot of good, unique experiences. How do you feel your pieces go over drawing from these, kind of outlandish, otherworldly experiences, and then you're reading them in a place like Old Town Cottonwood?
That's what I love.
The juxtaposition of that.
No, yeah, I feel the best poetry is done in fringes. That's one of the things. I have had the opportunity to move to Austin. I've had the opportunity to move to Flagstaff. I've lived in Seattle. I spent time in those places. And yes, they're great places, but my gripe against them is they are so grandfathered in to the point where they don't really care about it, because everybody's fringy, everybody's quirky, everyone has this this concept of themselves, and a really good poetry scene like the kind that me and Michelle are fostering would just get lost in the sauce out there.
Absolutely.
Out here it's appreciated. You have no idea how grand it is for people to come to us after the fact and say, their words exactly, I went to the cafe, I have not written in forever, and I was writing nonstop for 4 hours.
Yeah.
That is where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
And this is something, I'll get it put on a shirt, poetry is not a spectator sport.
I love that.
And it is not something to be sitting on a dusty old shelf, fading away. The reason why I believe in it is because it's the closest thing I've ever had to a religion in my life. It was the one time in my life where everything just made sense, because it is your story. We've been telling stories since the dawn of time. We were etching paintings on cave walls. Aristotle, Arthur Rimbaud, it doesn't matter. Andrea Gibson, the lineage continues. And if we can do that here, and if we can cast that net out and let people, like local artists who I know who tell me, I've never done this, and this is like a limb I didn't know existed, then that is the everything. So that's a very Baroque answer to your question. But
I love it.
I love doing this because it's what I believe in.
And Michelle, how are you finding it compared to the days of East Coast competitive poetry slam? Do you kind of still feel like that kind of like little nervous bubble in you before you go up? Like, it's not a competition anymore, but these are your peers. And I think being in a small town with the regulars coming back, it does put a little bit of pressure on you, would it not?
Oh my God, yes. And Chris will tell you, every time before the doors open, I'm like, no one's coming. No one's showing up. We've got all these chairs. No one's coming. Every single time I'm like, what if we did all this work and no one's showing up? What if you put on a show and nobody came? Every single time. And I'm like nervous. And then, 20 minutes later, the place is full.
It's bursting.
Every single time. But I still go through that. Like, it's part of the process now at this point. It's a ritual. Like, if I ever stop being nervous, that's going to be a problem, because it's part of the process now. And I think that just shows how much I care. But regarding the slam scene, we talked about this when we were creating this. Like, by design, we did not want to make this like a poetry slam scene. We do host a slam like once every few months, but it's for fun. Yeah. It's for money. Yeah. It's not for any. It's more to kind of like show a side of poetry and what it can be. And the crowd loves it. It's exciting. But I came up in that scene, and what I found that when you write only for slam, when you write to win slams, and that's it limits you as a writer, because that's all you're thinking about when you're writing is like, can I win a slam with this? Can I? And you're writing. There's a time limit in poetry slams. You have 3 minutes, and we didn't want that. We didn't want people to be limited. We wanted to kind of give people more free reign over what they want to say without telling them, okay, that's enough. You're done. The only time that there is a time limit is when on our open mic event, which is at the Eureka Room, which is right around the corner from the Queen Bee. We kind of expanded.
Everybody gets a turn.
Yes,
Yeah,
everyone gets a turn.
That's why, yeah.
Because we have so many people showing up. It's like, if we don't put a time limit on that, we'll never get through all the readers. And so we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to read. But that's the only reason that we have a time limit.
Right.
And that really grew out of so many people wanting to share their poems. And there was no way we could do both at Pendemonium. We couldn't have like the showcase, the longer form features of the poems of the poets, and then also do an open mic, because we would be there all night.
And that leads me right into my next thing. Pendemonium is not an open mic poetry night.
No,
it is a showcase.
Yes.
Predetermined poets. You guys curate those poets. You guys have come to know this group of poets. You guys have guest writers come in, all kinds of awesome superstars from around town who read. Now, when you go and curate these poets, are you having a theme in mind all the time, or does it not matter? Do you guys curate based on who's read before, who needs, a spot next, or who's got a new piece?
We like to keep a good flow.
Yeah.
And a lot of it kind of dovetails into people who we know from because both of us having had, our feet so deep in the trenches with other poetry scenes, that kind of allows for us to have this connection to bring in, someone who I've known from the Human Experience days, who now is someone who's just within our circle now, is a person named Joe Roberts, whose poetry name is Paradigm, and is one of the most outstanding poets we ever known. She got a standing ovation. Okay?
Yeah.
That's how excellent she is.
She kills it.
Yeah. And she, at the time, she came from California to do her first showcase with us, and we basically kind of dragged her out of retirement. She wasn't doing poetry anymore, and we begged her, and she came, and she was amazing. Our crowd was in the palm of her hand. It was amazing to watch. And now she moved to Tucson, so she's here in Arizona, and she's doing poetry again.
Awesome.
She's writing, she's doing new stuff. It's incredible.
Not to throw our credits around.
I mean, we don't want to toot our own horn, but we 100%.
Oh, toot away.
Snaps for that.
Yeah, we're taking credit for
snaps.
that.
We won't toot the horn, we'll do snaps.
Yeah.
But we do travel to a lot of events. We go to a lot of open mics. We go to a lot of writing groups and things, and we try to find people that we think would be a good fit for our event. We do have a certain style and aesthetic that we're looking for. Chris always says, I want to see blood. I want to see passion. I
believe in it, and a lot of the people we brought, they encompass that. Shantae is a great example.
Yes.
Or it's like we are inspired by people. Like you're inspired by one from Dorothy Parker, Andrea Gibson, and I have my crew, the old European guys. So it's like none of these people were passive poets.
Right.
These were people that put their foot in their work.
Yeah. They're opening and showing so much of themselves, sharing so much of themselves, but in a way that is very relatable. Like you were talking about, Chris sharing his experience as a model, right? But it's not. He does a poem about going to an audition and being sexually harassed by an agent, by a photographer. And, that's not everybody's been a model, but a lot of people in the audience know that experience.
Yeah.
So when he did that poem the first time, I think the first time he did it was at the Eureka Room.
I think it was, yeah.
And people were coming up to you after that going, I know that feeling. So, that's what I mean. It's
Men too.
Finding that common, whatever it is, this is something that is unique to you as a person, but if you can find that granule of commonality and really hone in on it and articulate it, people resonate with that, and that's what we're looking for in a writer or a poet. And not everything is themed, but I will say we had Gary Every, who's the poet laureate of Sedona. He came and he asked if he could do some music. He's kind of a musical poet.
Yeah.
So that night we decided to break our own rule and have some musical accompaniment with the poets. And it was really fun.
we don't normally have theme nights. We also did a Halloween show where we all came in costume as our favorite like dead poet and like yeah,
Dead Poet Society.
Exactly.
So good.
So much more than that. I was a priest. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, that could be Cardinal Richelieu or something.
Yeah.
From Musketeers.
Yeah, I was Dorothy Parker.
So awesome.
Yeah, and Roxy was Marilyn Monroe, who I didn't even realize was quite a prolific poet in her time. So Roxy read some of Marilyn's poems, and it was really amazing.
100 years old now.
Yeah.
Wow.
100 years old.
Wow,
so
crazy.
it's just those things are kind of organic,
Right.
when it's a theme night. But really, what we like to do at Pendemonium is really try to find as diverse a group as possible, and it's 4 or 5 poets who are very diverse in their work, in their persona,
How it flows.
Exactly, so that the audience, it's like they're hanging on every word, and then when that person gets off the stage, someone completely different gets up there, and it's like an energy shift.
So cool.
That's what we're looking for. Next week is our June showcase, and I'm actually bringing in an old friend of mine from New Hampshire who's he's like a 5-time slam champion. From the East Coast to McKendy. He's in town for a writers conference in Phoenix, and he hit me up. He said, I'm going to be in town. I would love to come and do a show at your venue.
Bada bing.
So I'm super excited about that. And then in July, we have a Native American punk rock poet from Flagstaff.
Get on the true punk movement.
That's right. Oh, I think our audience is gonna love this guy. I met him at an event in Phoenix. He's gonna be great. So yeah, we do travel a lot to find these folks. We would love to get to a point where people are reaching out to us.
Yeah.
But that takes time. It takes
does.
time.
But considering how much traction we've made,
In just
that's
a
saying
year.
a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, we got all of their socials and their information linked below. You could stay up to date with every Pendemonium showcase on our website at myradioplace.com/events, or stay up to date with it right at the Queen Bee Vinyl Cafe, queenbeevinylcafe.com in Old Town Cottonwood. They're about to do their June showcase. They got a July showcase. Obviously, it's once a month, so please go out to Pendemonium and check it out. We're going to hear some awesome pieces from them. Michelle, Chris, thank you guys so much for taking the time today to talk to us.
You got it.
Yay! And boom, cut. All right.
Cool. I know. My goal is to blanket the entire town with those pins, but oh my
Nice.
Thanks.
Give us a...
Okay, this is called The Lone Race. Here are the poets. We're the last of our kind. We're the child they said was unfit to feed. We're like the dodo bird, the dying breed, the brethren of Judah who bargains eternal. We are of sinners and swindlers and lone temple hustlers, the very last to arrive at God's soiree. We feast wildly on the judgment day, sneaking pearls and goldware from table and floor, late to lead the Last Supper and yet hungry for more. We're the race of the idlers and the voyeurs and the hilltop mountainside lingerers, the race that, rich with bags of gold, brought crooks to the mass. Setting fires to the old ways, we are iconoclasts, who look to the heavens and declare, the moon be my lover, the stars be my sisters, the rings of Saturn my children, and the planets, madams and misters. We are the successful impostors they'd rather you not remember, the 2 lords who met in secret amid the tower, the girl who tossed a rose on the corpse of her lover, the slave who pleasures the wife of the master. We are the child who, fleeing the hands and cruelty of his father and the ministry, finds all the wisdom and magic of this universe contained in the simple shade of a field. We are stowaways and secret keepers, the stargazers and tarot readers. Tossing old ways aside, we alone magnify the kaleidoscope of the divine. We're your neighbor and your sister, your brother and foe, containing wisdom of worlds held above and below. Be us human and scoundrel with stars in our face, hear us now. We're poets, and the very last of our race.
This one goes out to my fellow Gen Xers. If you know, you know. It's called The Wild One. In the year of our Lord, 1977, in the basement in the backwoods of Maine, a 7-year-old freckle-faced girl was just settling in for her favorite television program, Happy Days. It was a nostalgic slice of American cheese that made kids in the 70s long for the 50s because we didn't know any better. I was ready to lay eyes on the coolest guy on the planet, Mr. Arthur Fonzarelli, a.k.a. the Fonz, a man who could fix a jukebox with a well-placed bump of a fist. In this particular episode, Fonzie Loves Pinky, the Fonz fell in love with a motorcycle babe named Pinky Tuscadero. She was all right. A novelty in the way of 70s female empowerment, but that's when a plot twist in the form of a 5-foot-tall firecracker poured into a black leather jumpsuit burst onto my screen. Pinky Tuscadero's kid sister, Leather Tuscadero. A bona fide teenage rock and roller, she looked like what would happen if Mick Jagger and Christy McNichol had a baby. She played the bass, slung low on her hips, moved about the stage with all the frontman swagger of Elvis, sang with the raw rasp of a young Rod Stewart, so effortlessly cool, she made Richie, Potsy, and Ralph Malph look like a bunch of middle-aged Boy Scouts. Fonzie who? The next day, I begged my mother to take me to the record store. I'd scrounged up $5 whole to buy the album Quattro by Susie Quattro, the Detroit-born pistol who played Leather Tuscadero. Not just some actress playing a character on a sitcom, but a living, breathing, ass-kicking rock star who'd already been on the cover of Rolling Stone. At the height of her Leather Tuscadero fame, Susie could have had her own TV show, but she walked away. If those corporate suits had known her at all, they'd have known that years earlier, when American radio wouldn't play her songs, she gave guys like them the middle finger, peaced out, went to the UK, the polar opposite of the Beatles, where she became a superstar, straight to #1 for 101 weeks. Susie wasn't meant for sitcoms. Susie was here to mess up our idea of what a rock star should look like. She warned us. She was the wild one. She said, "Your mama won't like me." To all the 7-year-olds in the backwoods of nowhere, Susie Quattro was a revelation, a record scratch. Maybe we could be the next Jim Morrison or Robert Plant instead of being in the background in a short skirt playing the tambourine. Who among us might be the next one to stand in front of the band and shout into the mic, "All my life I wanted to be somebody, and here I am"? All the rocker girls who came after, Joan and Cherry, Debbie and Chrissy, Wendy, Belinda, Tina, Kim, Susanna, and Kathleen, Susie kicked the door open with a well-placed leather boot. You better bow down to the wild one.
That was great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
I love that
awesome.
piece. I love that.